Chair Humanities. In this last part of the conference, we're going to talk about, we're going to have a very exciting lecture by Professor Francis Egbokhare, just sitting in front of me. But just before that, let just me welcome you. I was allowed by the VC rep just to welcome you this afternoon. We're going to have closing remarks just later on today. So Professor Egbokhare, please, if you don't mind, please coming, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Just permit me to save time on the protocol. And then, of course, the acting Vice Chancellor. There's a guy once asked me, why do you have an acting Vice Chancellor? I said, because he has moved from philosophy to theater arts. So Emeka, please let me have my laptop so I don't look back to try to, and just once it switch it on and to the slide. Now I'm going to be talking about the digital humanities and international collaborations, a perspective from the NaijaSynCor project, and it's very interesting. From what you can see, the partners in the NaijaSynCor project, IFRA-Nigeria, CNRS, Lacon, Modico, and then of course I should also add these are overseas partners. We have the Department of Linguistics, African Regional Center for Information Science, and then the Nigerian Academy of Letters. Basically, the idea is to let you see the direction of collaborations and research today. What I will just do basically is to give you a lot of images and then make a few statements to see how a dynamic relationship can lead to growth. Now, first of all, it starts with two individuals. In this case, it started with Bernard Caron and myself. It grew into institutional relationship, and who knows? It's getting to becoming a national partnership now between two countries. And I think basically this is the trajectory of relationships and how these collaborations grow. And that is why it is very important that we take it very seriously. Any collaboration, any partnership, you must nurture it very well so that it can you can get the full benefits of it. So let's move on to the next, just move on. And this is the University of Ibadan, first and best. I always like, I've been here for 34 years now. I came in here as a young man. I always like to showcase University of Ibadan. Move on, please. This is Niger. We are familiar with this jersey. It's also the word that Nigerians will use for in Pidgin for the term for Nigeria. In Pidgin is Niger. Please move on quickly. Can you click on the voice there? We want to listen to the French president speak. Can you please go back to that?
My name now Emmanuel Macron. Namibia is the president of France, and I campaign in Lagos today.
Thank you very much. Just to let you know that Nigerian Pidgin is globalizing, and that's the president of. So if you're asking why France is interested, the president of France is interested. So okay, let's move on. Now it's a corpus. NaijaSynCor is a corpus-based macro-syntactic study of Niger, and then of course. The partners are given, its duration is 54 months. We are just about rounding up this project this month. Just move on, I'll tell you if you have to stop. The point about the project is that we're trying to explore new frontiers for knowledge creation and the collaboration and dissemination of knowledge. And the idea is that we must break the barrier of boundedness, the idea of drawing boundaries between disciplines. Knowledge is very fluid. If there's anything that we have learned from this collaboration, is the illusion of knowledge taxonomies. Knowledge taxonomies or classifications are important, They are important because they enable us, for pragmatic reasons, to be able to handle small bits and pieces of knowledge, but they cannot become barriers against collaboration. And so that's basically the point about this. So we have to challenge the old logic of divisions, which is one of the problems that we have here, that everybody has built a silo. You can see the image of the silos there, of isolationism, knowledge silos, and so it's making it difficult for progress to be made and for international collaboration. So the new logic is that in the age of knowledge, there must be fluidity of knowledge, ICTs, AI, big data, e-learning, machine learning, neural networks, collaboration, and multidisciplinarity. These are the creating new spaces and changing methodologies. So the methodologies of learning are changing. And this is exactly the crux of the NaijaSynCor project. It's funded by it's a European funded project. It's an ongoing collaboration effort on Nigerian Pidgin. It's a corpus-based macrosyntactic study on Nigerian Pidgin. And then it examines their topic, their physics, their static and genre variation in depth study of the structure of Nigerian Pidgin. And then it capitalizes on the latest development in the area of corpus annotation with powerful impact of our methodology and technology of research on emerging languages. Put it simply means that we are dealing with sociolinguistics and geographical study of variation according to formal and informal uses, and along the lines of gender and education of speakers. So, and we're looking at the link between change in structure and change in language use function, using natural language processing tools for corpus study. And then we're evaluating the distance between Nigeria and Nigerian English through study of intonation and so on and so forth. Information structure, morphology, micro and macro syntax. The good thing about this is that you see that the business of syntax is changing. If you ever have asked yourself why Google is able to do its own grammar, it's because linguists are involved with dependency syntax. There are a number of things that are happening. We can't, whether you talk about robot interface language, or you talk about conlanging, and these are basically because linguists are busy, because linguists are working together across nations and within nations. So what is the outcome? What are the outcomes? Electronic dictionary and grammar for Pidgin. But more than this, we are creating a wiki-based dictionary for Nigerian Pidgin, which is almost done now. And the corpus is the largest now anywhere in the world. I think if you don't clap for me on that, I think because it's a success story. I mean, that's why one is happy to talk about it. We're developing 2 AI tools such as automatic parsers, automatic tagger, and text to sound automatic aligner, which can be retrained for Nigerian languages. In other words, it's not just about Pidgin. These tools now are going to be applied to Nigerian languages. This is a big outcome of this. And then this launches the era of big data and AI in linguistic analysis of Nigerian languages. And then through this project, students of University of Ibadan are now being trained and empowered to do digital linguistics. And I think this is where it comes to, I'm not going to go into details about telling you what digital linguistics is. I think you probably already have had enough about this. So that's, and I've always tried to tell my students that it's not a new classification, but it's a practice. And so that they don't start to take a title, I'm a digital linguistician. So participation, we already have information about the participation. So let me just move on. These are the disciplines that are involved: computer engineers, software experts, programmers, statisticians, sociolinguists, phonologists, phoneticians, syntacticians, and lexicographers. This shows you the extent of involvement, which makes the whole business of project management a very serious, critical issue in this. It's not just one of those projects you can deliver. It has to be, I mean, this is one of the critical things that Bernard Caron had to come, that's why he had to be here for a while, so that the management of the program and coordination of often very diverse academics with diverse temperaments and some highly opinionated. You need to have to manage them very skillfully to be able to deliver on a project like this. So project management is one critical aspect of this. Now, 2 summer schools for masterclass students in Nigeria at the University of Ibadan was organized in collaboration with IFRA, the Nigerian Academy of Letters, and the African Regional Center for Information Science, with substantial funding from NaijaSynCor grant on crowdsourcing and web corpora. That was in March 2018. And then, of course, we hosted colleagues from Nanterre and others, Modico, helping to create a postgraduate degree in computational linguistics and natural language processing, and another on data analytics. So what we're doing basically is that we're seeing the Department of Linguistics is going to be running a degree program soon in computational linguistics. In another 2 weeks, there is going to be a workshop on that. And this is arising from this effort of NaijaSynCor. And then we have also built capacity of colleagues from Nigeria through exchange visits. And then, of course, PhD scholarship facilitated for 2 students from UI. And this is apart from the number of students who are already working as research fellows, where we've had close to about 6 of such research fellows on full-time working on this project. And believe me, what they can do is amazing. At the beginning, we had our doubts whether these projects could be delivered from Nigeria. But it's amazing what these young ones can do with a project like this, which means also that we need to have some level of open minds and then carefully select people who have capacity and ability without any influence peddling. Because one of the things we avoided was to ensure that those who were selected were in a good position to be able to deliver on the project. So you can see the map of Nigeria showing the locations where we had to collect data, the spread of files by regions and radio stations, the speaker's age in terms of those who speak Nigerian Pidgin, and then using and developing new NLP tools. You see Elon, realignment, Penta, you have Prom, you have Analog. These are all the tools. You see, it's a very complex project. No one person can deliver on a project like this. And this is what is really critical. Collaboration is a new way, you know, and we must avoid the idea of just going to a project and believing that one person can make a forest. And then, so what we did with Elon was morphosyntactic annotation, automatic tagger and parser for deep learning, sparse for phoneticization and alignment, analog for intonation, arborator for universal dependencies grammar, and the Tramel for queries and statistics on annotated corpora. So this is just to show you things now, what you do with your morphosyntax. It shows you exactly, to show you that this is really technology intensive. Analog for prosodic analysis, giving you the images there. And then of course, syntax arborator, you see what we do in terms of the dependency syntax, showing relationships and dependencies in that order, giving you the sentence example of the sentence. And then of course, sociolinguistic analysis. This is the one that is really quite, you see all those squares and so on, needs a very expert analysis. And then of course, the corpus, we have a golden tree bank. Then we have the corpus, then we some of the materials, how we got our sources of data and so on. And then of course the GRU match, then and so on. Now, I'm just going to show you you can move on to, there is a text there. This text, yes, is to show you that even in the introduction to the website, the NaijaSynCor website, the Wiki dictionary of Nigerian Pidgin, you have Pidgin is written, you have the English, and then you have it translated also into Pidgin. Or let me say you have the Pidgin translated into English. So that's why I had the two there, so you can compare. Saying NaijaSynCor Compose show how people they yarn Naija for Nigeria as per 2017. The 320 selection now from 330 people where they yarn Naija, them gather them for different places like Lagos, Port Harcourt, and so on and so forth. We're doing the corpus, the Wiki dictionary is not in English, it's in Naija. So it's not one of those things where we translate into, there's an English translation, but basically it's a Naija dictionary. Because we didn't want to have an English dictionary in Naija, we wanted to have a Naija dictionary in Naija. And then Naija Wiki, this shows you a sample of how it's going to look like when it's online. We're soon going to launch it. and it will be open now to the public to use. It's a free open source material. It's open to everybody. In fact, the corpus is already being used by researchers all over the world. So you are welcome when we do launch it publicly, open it to the public to use it and to model your research in the future after the pattern of the NaijaSynCor. And then this shows you the pronunciation. And then, of course, these are individuals who were involved. You can see me there. My beards were not this white and long. This just you see Kim Geddes, Benakaron. It's a list of individuals who are involved in this project. You can see how amazing this number of people involved in one project. It's wonderful to work together across continents, across countries, across disciplines, and then it shows you exactly what the the kind of power that ideas have when people are determined to solve a problem. This just giving you giving you a few things. Naija advertisement for Gouda, Naman Yubi. I don't drink Gouda. I don't know why I put Gouda here, but and then of course I save money because my Okada, because I save money because my Okada no they chop oil or something like that. And then they feed Duam. This is an advertisement campaign. The whole idea is to tell you that Nigerian Pidgin or Naija is not just one of those languages you can dispense with. It's a very important language and very central to the development of this nation. And then, of course, there is Hamlet. This is part of the outcomes as well. The translation of classic literature was done by one of the individuals that was funded at some point by IFRA to do a translation. And he has taken that upon himself now as a career path and is translating a lot of classical materials. And this shows exactly the other impact of a project beyond the expected and defined outcomes. And then, of course, you see these, I think Bernard likes to capture things like this. Pidgin is a lingua franca, good only for non-academic environments. Do not use it on campus by order. Okay, and so that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. I must say, I admire all your work, and that's definitely something which Bernard Caron has managed to do here with you over the years. So well done. Thank you again. May I call now the former directors, maybe of the Institute of African Studies? Is Professor Pogoson here? Professor Layiwola? Yes, please come here. You're just in the reflection here. Sorry. Please come to the floor. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Working relationship with IFRA over here.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the ambassador. You're not a guest here. You are one of us. You've come so often, every so often. I would like to say again that the Institute of African Studies, which used to be the window, and I believe is still the window of the university opened to the larger world, is of course a beneficiary of the International Congress of Africanists. As you know, these groups of statesmen, academics, met over the years. In 1960, they met in the USSR, and they also had various meetings in Britain, in France, and in the United States. And then they decided to have a big congress on the continent of Africa itself. And this was attended by as many as nationals from 60 different countries of the world. At the time, Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana was president, We also have academics from here, Professor Kenneth Onwuka-Dike, who was not only the director of the Institute of African Studies, but was also the president of the university, or the vice chancellor of the university. He was the one who chaired and organized the conference at first from here, and then they went to Accra because it was funded by the Ghanaian government, because Kwame Nkrumah had a passion for indigenizing knowledge in Africa, believing that it is true that colonialism was over, but the curriculum was still largely colonial. So they understood this to be that for the process of decolonization, which is part of the theme of the conference, to be complete, it was nice to indigenize knowledge and ensure that the knowledge which were brought from all areas of the world, from all geopolitical zones of the world, would then come to Africa and be meaningful in the context of the African continent. This meeting was a spectacular one and the first of its kind. And it bore a great fruit because there was a big publication from it. And as soon as Professor Dike left the conference in Ghana, our Institute of African Studies opened in 1962. The one in Ghana, in Legon, opened in 1963, just a year after ours. Nkrumah not only made sure that he funded the Institute of African Studies directly from the presidency of Ghana, he also ensured that, as he did at the time of independence for Ghana, that every major position was manned by persons who knew the history and the culture of Africa. And so it was possible for the country to claim that it had become independent. So in Nigeria, the Institute of African Studies also became a large initiative, welcoming scholars from around the world and ensuring that the disciplines here were completely inter as well as multidisciplinary. At the moment, we have over 10 programs, but at the start, they had about 4 or 5 programs, but now we have about 12 programs running across disciplines. So the Institute had waxed on. It started with the publication of a bulletin, which eventually became a journal, which reported on research on African studies, and which also reported on projects which were projected for the future. Now, we have been extremely lucky that we not only had collaborations with major multinationals, various funding organizations from the United States, but we'd also been lucky to partner with institutions like IFRA. I suspected, and this is not, I'm not a subversive, but I suspected that the French, seeing that the British were beginning to have a great foothold, went ahead and jumped ahead of the British and planted something here, because this is unique. It is the only institution that operates from within the academy. The rest of IFRA on the continent operates as, they operate as institutions on their own outside of the academy. And this initiative and this vision had been classic and had proved to be extremely, extremely far-sighted, because it has been possible for IFRA not only sitting down within the Institute of African Studies to reach out to various other spots of the University of Ibadan campus, and indeed of other campuses in Nigeria. They carry projects from Zaria, where the directors are based here in Ibadan, but they operate here with various tentacles and control as well as partner with other people to be able to carry out this program. One of them is the one that Professor Egbokhare just presented. There are so many others. So it's a good thing that IFRA has not only come of age, it has also become an institution within the institution. We're extremely happy. And I think that there is also some foresight and some ingenuity in the way in which the directors had been chosen. They started first with persons who are very elderly and experienced, and then they gradually devolved. And the younger people who are brought were people who knew their onions and were people who also had been schooled, not only in the French tradition, but in French intelligence, and had been able to perform and deliver. We're happy to be partnering with IFRA at every turn. And I must also say, with respect and in regard to the permission I got from my colleagues, as you can see, they're all looking at me anxiously with their eyes boring into me, to say that IFRA had been extremely generous. It's not only been intellectually upbeat, but it had been extremely generous. It's not a stingy institution. And it has, for that reason, attracted a number of young people to itself, and they're enamored of IFRA. And IFRA has made its name and had shown that it is possible for multinational and bilateral collaborations within institutions to be able to carry forward the projects, not only of nationalization, but also of decolonization. I thank you for the initiative. Much.
Thank you, Professor, for your very kind words. May I call Dr. Senayon, please? Oh, Professor Pogoson, you here? You here? Sorry? Dr. Jimo, sorry. Please, you want to say a word? You don't have to. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are very happy to identify with IFRA on the occasion of its 38th anniversary. And I'm very happy as well that I was still at the Institute of African Studies when IFRA came here 30 years ago in 1990. And at least 9 directors at the Institute of African Studies had worked and benefited immensely, started with our Mama Bolanle Awe in 1990 when you came. And all successful directors, they work hand in hand with IFRA. And there is really cordial relationship and peaceful coexistence, because very often you see many tenants that will just be problematic. But in the case of IFRA, we are very grateful that they are peaceful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We've got very nice landlords, to be honest, so thank you. I go to the floor, Dr. Senayon, please. Please, Dr. Senayon is the acting director of the Institute of African Studies, so our current landlord. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. May I just stand on the existing protocol? I am just a beneficiary of a very long legacy of international collaboration and relationship between the University of Ibadan and IFRA, and by implication between the Institute of African Studies and IFRA, and do we again also say between Nigeria and the French government, while welcoming His Excellency, the Ambassador of the French government to Nigeria and the ECOWAS and his team. I would also at the same time like to welcome all other dignitaries and beginning with the representative of the Acting Vice Chancellor, Professor Raymond. We are grateful to the second keynote speaker, Professor Egbokhare. Professor Adeshina would like to welcome you. Would like to thank you especially for your mentoring and you know, some professors within the, when we say the Institute of African Studies interfaces with the other programs in the university, we say that because some people represent the face of that interface. And so every time there are names everybody will be familiar with. When you mention Professor Egbokhare, he's always around. Professor Adeshina will always be around, as well as some other professors who through thick and thin will always come to our rescue as members of the Salvation Army. I would, like I said earlier on, say again that I have been, as the current director, a beneficiary of this incredible legacy of collaboration. And all I can say is that I have listened to our elders, including Professor Layiwola, to whom we always run when it comes to matters of institutional memory, to know exactly, you know, where we're coming from and how we got to where we are, and sometimes to also find out where did the rain begin to beat us. But as in the case of the occasion today, it's not, we are not gathering here because we are trying to reflect and investigate where the rain began to beat us, but maybe we should say where the sun began to shine on us. And that is talking about our sense of the collaboration we've had with IFRA, which Professor Awe told me a couple of days ago, you know, actually began with the facilitation that Professor Iwara provided, because he was like the French scholar or the French linguist at the Institute of African Studies that time. And I must also say apologies from Professor Awe. The apologies came a couple of hours ago that she could no longer make it. Professor Awe is in her 80s, and we understand how difficult it can be for her sometimes to attend. And she said, you know, I was just there and I had to rely on Professor Iwara, who was extremely enthusiastic about the discussions that eventually led, you know, to the establishment of IFRA. And between that time and now, it's been an incredible time working together. I've been director for almost a year now, and I must say that beginning from the previous director to the current director, like my predecessor, Professor Jimo has said, had, I mean, such a great time together, reflecting on this legacy. We are extremely pleased to say we would like to this collaboration to continue. We look forward to other things, despite the challenges we've also had together. We have been able to bond at the same time, to confront them. And today, all we can say is that it is a celebration of an excellent and productive collaboration. So once again, we'd like to welcome you all. And of course, we'd like to, at the same time, prepare us ahead of the grand finale that will commence, I guess, after this session. So back to you, my co-host. So we are told, as we do this together. I'd like to thank you all.
Thank you, dear co-host. I guess it's my time now to give a little speech, but don't worry, I won't bore you for too long. It's been a long conference, and I was very pleased to organize it despite all the circumstances. So before, like, you know, I start everything, let me thank, you know, all the people who were here as participants, most of those who helped to organize it today. Still, I would like to recognize the presence of the Acting Vice Chancellor, Mrs. Aremo. Thank you for your presence, and thank you, Your Excellency, for being here today. I would like to welcome the team of the French Embassy here today, and also all my colleagues here, Director of the Institute of African Studies first and foremost, but also all my colleagues at the Institute of African Studies and beyond. So welcome to you all. Let me just say that first, IFRA is a rare research institute. As Professor Layiwola reminded us just recently, it's the only foreign institute located in Nigeria. And maybe it's because actually, to score points against the British, maybe, who knows? But that's not impossible knowing the French. Researchers from all continents here have come during the last 10 years. I've known this institute. And that's something which I really, find interesting about, this place. I've been working in universities for the last 10 years of my life. And I must say that's really something which I like at IFRA is that you can meet people from different nationalities. Myself, I've sent researchers from Britain, France, Spain, South America, it was Brazil, I think, and South Korea here. And, I hope I'm going to meet even more people here. Something you got to know that I'm very happy and very proud of is that, IFRA is funded by the French taxpayer through actually the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, which is represented today by His Excellency Ambassador Mr. Jérôme Pasquier. I must say that, without the support of the French Foreign Ministry, there won't be any IFRA here today, so I'd like to thank them. I would like also to say thank you to the French National Research Council. The French call it CNRS. It's a council which basically funds research, public research funded by the French state. And this has been going on for the last 30 years, even 31, since technically it's the 31st birthday. University research is obviously no longer the matter of a single state or even of states in general. I've got to be aware of that. Academic research is very international by nature. A large proportion of our IFRA's activities are funded by different states, so Britain, Germany, US, Japan, but also international organizations which are not states, standard at all, so that's really something which I like to acknowledge here today as well. Our research is also funded by different organizations. Still, here, I would like to thank, especially tonight, the Institute of African, or this afternoon, the Institute of African Studies. This institute has welcomed us within its walls since 1990, and as you can tell from the warm words of the former directors, Professor Layiwola, Dr. Jimo, and the current acting director, Dr. Senayon, we've had a very fruitful relationship. Something for me which was very interesting is that, I came from Britain in January, and actually I came from Britain from a university called King's College London, where Prof. Kenneth Dele did his own PhD. So at the end of the 1940s. So for me, there was a pure coincidence that actually I kind of followed this step backwards somehow. I did a PhD in Britain and I ended up coming to UI. And that's something which I really enjoyed here. For me, Prof. Kenneth Dele was, one of the pioneers of a new type of scholarship. Throughout his academic career, Kenneth Dele made sure that African voices were heard and accounted for. Those who listen to Prof. Layiwola today and even yesterday won't be surprised to hear my comments today. 59 years later, I'm certain that his successors in this room have seized his mantle, and I'm very proud of that. So that's why I'm very happy to be here. I'm also looking forward to the 60th anniversary of the IAS next year. So that's something I'm really looking for. I've asked former directors of IFRA what they thought about IFRA. Let me just give you, their own words here. I'm going to quote them straight away. Just give you an idea of what they've done here. I'm not the first one here. I'm just, like Dr. Senayon said, a bit of a caretaker. The founding father of IFRA-Nigeria is someone who's worked with Prof. Egbokhare. It's Prof. Emeritus Bernard Caron. For him, I'm quoting him now, the most gratifying thing was to see how IFRA has grown, how the successive directors have given it life and transformed it into new research institutes where Nigeria and Europe are getting to know each other. Long live IFRA. That's a very French ending. Gerard Schwen, whom many of you know here because he's a famous archaeologist, said, what I found most gratifying was the opportunity given to me to bring the institute through a critical period. And thanks to the mobilization of a generous and talented team to ensure its relaunch, by demonstrating that it was possible for IFRA to obtain external funding and to be a nursery, that's the word he used, for young and talented Nigerian researchers. And that's something I really liked about IFRA in general, to meet them. And we got some of them are around with us today, one here, one over there, and I'm sure there are others here, so thank you. Finally, my predecessor, Dr. Elodie Appard, said that for her, the most rewarding part of her job as director of IFRA has been to participate in the emergence and development of a network of young Nigerian scholars in the wake of the Institute. She hopes that more Nigerian men and women will benefit from the support of IFRA to obtain a scholarship, participate in our training program, conduct field surveys, present or publish their work. Why? Well, because she thinks that because they embody IFRA's long-term mission, which is for her promoting renewed scientific collaboration between France and Nigeria in order to maintain a fruitful, equal and rewarding relationship. Now, in the second part of my speech, I wanted to say something about the whole IFRA team, and I've got two members here, Mr. Abu and Mrs. Davis. But you know, there's also someone else. There's someone else called Mr. Shola. Where's Mr. Shola? Where's Mr. Shola Babalola? Is he here around? Is he around? I would like to thank him as well. I'd like to thank the three of you for all your help throughout the years. I wanted also to thank Mr. Martin Bella, because Martin Bella, who's very shy, who's not with us right now. I'm gonna, tell him off later on. I met him 11 years ago. I came to IFRA 11 years ago myself as a PhD researcher. I came to this very office. I spent a few days in Ibadan and was welcomed by IFRA's former director. And Mr. Mbella told me the road to follow to go to the border between Nigeria and Cameroon, where I spent 2 enjoyable weeks at the border between Nigeria and Cameroon. I must say that 11 years ago, it wasn't exactly safe, but yeah, I made it. Thanks to Martin Bella, I spent 2 amazing weeks at in the twin village of Banki and Amchide, and I would like to thank him for that. As a researcher, but also as a director today, I want to thank him. And I'm going to give him a little present later, because without him, I think that's IFRA wouldn't be working as well as it is right now for organizing this event, for organizing everything here. So I would like to thank him. I've asked all the former directors what they thought about him, and they all repeated the same word, that he was a pillar. Yes, this man is really holding everything together. But I won't say more now since, he's not here with us. So I'll talk to him later. See, I had a few pages to tell him. That happens. But let me finish this now by showing you our activities at IFRA-Nigeria, And basically, to tell you there's a reason for my being in Nigeria right now. Every year, researchers of our institute produce books, articles, and reports. And it's with pride I became director. So now I'm going to show you our latest publications in the last 6 months. So I won't bore you down with a list of things. I'm just going to show you 2 of them. The first one by former director of IFRA-Nigeria, Dr. Olaoluwa. Do you mind scrolling down a bit, please? Can you scroll down a bit more? Scroll down a bit, the page, please. There you go. My colleague, Dr. Olaoluwa, actually was a specialist, a bit like me, actually, the history of the North of Nigeria, and has worked on the circulation of Islam and circulation of ideas between Niger and Nigeria. That's what we call transnational history. And she has just published this book. But what I like about this book, do you mind scrolling down a bit as well? If you show us the list of contributors, go down, go down, go down. Down, down, down. Yeah, please, there, please. If you see here, just simple list of names, that's, I think, for me, a kind of symbol of what we're doing at IFRA. It's like the collaboration with Nigerian scholars, in this case, Northern scholars, about, to tell a different history about the North of Nigeria in this case, but in general, a collaboration. And that's what happens here a lot at IFRA, is that we work together. It takes time, it takes a few years, but in the end, we publish something. And that's one of the results here. So that's one of our latest publications that I'll be happy to show you if you come to our new resource center later on today. Do you mind please going to the second tab, please? That's the one called sources. That was on the other, that was in the same browser as yes. Sources, that's number 2, second tab. That's it. Do you mind scrolling down a bit? Please scroll down a bit. Well, let me tell you why I want to talk about sources right now. Sources is a journal edited by scholars based in the equivalent of IFRA around Africa, but also with IFRA. And here you've got a special issue, which was directed by my colleague, Dr. Cyril Mango-Martineau, who is with us today. She's a researcher, and she's, she also the deputy director. I'd like to thank her for all her work as a researcher and for the number of hours she spent, editing this introduction, but also working with the authors of this special dossier. And if you go down the page, could you mind scrolling down, please? Go down, go down, go down. Down again. Again, a bit more. There you go. There you go. Here, you've got in front of you, if you can read from the back, you got something called the Nigeria Watch Project. Dr. Cyril Mango-Martineau worked with the authors of this article to talk about what we call Nigeria Watch Project, which is one of the oldest projects IFRA-Nigeria, one which creates reports about violent acts committed in Nigeria. So this is a very kind of academic result of all this work undertaken in Nigeria in the collaborative form. So that's why I like to really, all my colleagues here, because that's the ways of becoming a director here, work with different researchers, not only based at the Institute of African Studies. So thank you. Now to tell you a bit more about, okay, to steps. That's a very boring PDF in front of you. I've been working on recent digitalization of archives in Nigeria. Why do I think it's important? This was partly one of the themes of this conference. It's because actually we are facing a moment where we need to access material based in Nigeria to enable us to write a different history of the country. Otherwise, there's going to be a form of amnesia. And I heard that today. I didn't know the word exactly amnesia today, but people forget. People don't remember that actually these things have happened in Nigeria, whether they be protests, whether they be social movements, or just, well, the past, basically. That's what I'm interested in. I call this project Niger Archives, but of course, I'm not on my own here. And again, it's the whole IFRA team here working with me. So I just, one such document I wanted to show you here today to show you what we're trying to do. Do you mind please going to the fourth tab? It must be the fourth one. This is, again, Niger Archives. You can see here. Can you scroll down, please? A bit down, down, down. Again, all these archives located in Nigeria. Go down, go down, go down. With a map of all the archives that we've crowdsourced based in Nigeria. Obviously, there are more than that in West Africa and Central Africa and the world, as you can tell. But the idea was basically to show to people that, yes, it's possible to undertake research in Africa and to come to different places. Myself, I've been to quite a few. I've crowdsourced the content of this map with other people. I've created the map and put it on this website, which is the new website of our new resource center here at IFRA-Nigeria. That's why I want to show you this page here, not just because the map was fancy or anything like that. Which takes us actually to our fifth tab, please. So that's our new website with new resources. And here you can, if you scroll down slowly, please. Do you mind scrolling down slowly? There you go. You can see everything which got available in our resource center. Journals, resources, our own publications I've just talked about. Archives, I just said here as well. Press cuttings, some things our colleagues have been working on for quite a bit now. And here you go, our new website. And finally, our sixth tab, just to give you the last one, which was called, which started with called Inside, I think, Inside. Just to show you basically the cat. Maybe it's hidden there. No, it's not this one. I know. Yes, this one. Can you go down a bit? Yes, perfect. Inside Nigerian History, written by Yusuf Bala Usman and George Amale Kwanache. I'm very interested in Yusuf Bala Usman because he was a Marxist historian of northern Nigeria. He wrote a different history of Nigeria. Unfortunately, died in a car crash, from not mistaken. A man who wrote, again, a different history of Nigeria. But here you can see his book in our brand new catalog. Why this catalog is important? It's important because actually now, for the first time, we know what's available in some libraries, and it's happening at before that you had to turn up and check it. So now we know in advance. So, again, I'd like to thank, all the IFRA team and all those who've worked on this creation of this catalog. And that's, that's something which is very rewarding. And I hope you can see it, when we do a tour of IFRA, of the center right now, just after our speeches. Let me just finish now. Let me just wrap up. Again, here, I said I use the word proud, and actually I'm not, not lying. I'm very happy to be here because I'm working with you. I'm trying to make things, together with you, and that's working together, which, really motivates me. Sometimes you won't work, it's just normal. Sometimes you will work, I hope. But I know it takes years, I know it takes time. And, that this relationship has been built over the last 30 years. And I hope, like my predecessor, just for it to last long and even 30 more years. Why not? Maybe I come back. So thank you all. And I hope we can visit IFRA and join us tonight. Thank you. Finally, you might have some closing remarks from Ms. Jérôme, who is representing our Acting Vice Chancellor today. Thank you for your help and the help of our local organization committee. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think at this point, there may not be too much to say. I was here yesterday morning, and we said quite a number of things about the relationship of IFRA and the Institute of African Studies, and by extension, University of Ibadan, and the visibility. And from what I had yesterday and what I had again today, I can see why, I just mentioned yesterday that I saw some of the projects online, the Digital Humanities project, and I said that I had my aha moment. But listening to them live, listening to Prof live, I'm just amazed at the various things that are happening in the humanities, and with the joint collaboration of IFRA and the Institute of African Studies and other researchers in the university and all over Africa. So I just want to emphasize what Professor Egbokhare said the other time, that now it's about collaboration. It's not one person's show. Everybody has something to put into it, especially in this post-COVID era, with digital technologies having a very great part to play. So I want to encourage us to open up to different kinds of collaborations and different kinds of possibilities that are available. He mentioned, relationships, individual relationships that would lead to institutional relationships, which eventually is leading to relationships within nations and continents. And I think that is where we should be going. And if we're talking about the issue of peace and solving a lot of global problems, I think this is what should happen. So once again, I want to congratulate everybody, the past directors of IFRA, past directors of Institute of African Studies, and the current ones for all the good work that you have done. And to also thank, I know it's coming directly after, His Excellency, the Ambassador of France to Nigeria and the ECOWAS for the support over the years, and maybe the predecessors also, in ensuring that that relationship stands strong. And I remember that Dr. Jimo was talking about having good tenants, and Dr. Vincent was talking about having good landlords, because both must work together before things go on. I hope this kind of collaboration, continue, and we would continue to be the better for it in the University of Ibadan, which is the first and best. Thank you very much to all the participants, the presenters, and I hope that at this point, we're able to answer that question. Unfortunately, I wasn't here this morning. Maybe you would have been able to answer the question that about digital humanities, although I know in humanities, the arguments go on. So you may not be able to conclude that it is actually the final frontier. Maybe we're moving towards it, but we're seeing the evidence that it's the final frontier for the decolonization of knowledge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Arimu, for your very nice words. Much appreciated. Thank you. May I call His Excellency, the Ambassador of France to Nigeria and ECOWAS, please, for your closing remarks? Would you like to come here, or should I pass you the microphone?
Bonsoir tout le monde. We need some French language from time to time, huh? Don't we? Okay. Well, I'm not going to make a big lecture about pidgin or about digitalization or anything else, but to say only that I'm very happy to be here. It's a great day for IFRA. 30 years. Well, it's becoming serious. Huh? I hope IFRA will have at least 30 more years here in University of Ibadan, because we have been very lucky to have this possibility of IFRA being hosted in University of Ibadan. I think the cooperation has been always excellent. And this is very important, because without that, we couldn't have keep this IFRA for such a long time. So thank you very much. Thank you, Acting Vice Chancellor, Acting Director, Acting. Thank you to all of you and to all the people of the staff of the university. I think that IFRA has really accomplished many feats in these 30 years. While we heard about all the project relating to pidgin, and Professor Caron was mentioned, which was absolutely very well deserved. I think the Niger Watch project is also been mentioned. Also, it's a very important one that has been that began in 2006. Huh? So it's becoming quite important, and it's very useful to have this number of data to compare and to show the evolution of violence in Nigeria. I'm not going to comment if it's going in the good or in the less good direction. But thank you to Dr. Cyrielle Mingro-Martineau, who is much in charge of this project. Mentioned, I think Gérald Chouin in archaeology has been also mentioned. He's also a pillar for the IFRA. I'm very sorry that he's not with us today. I understand he's in Nigeria, but he's still in self-isolation somewhere. So, but we wish him a very good work. He couldn't come last year because of COVID, but that's good that he could resume his activities this year. Also, all the work related to northern Nigeria. We are in Ibadan, but the IFRA is working about the whole Nigeria and also northern Nigeria. You saw the book by Erodia Pro about Islam in northern Nigeria. I think the present director knows some small things about northeast Nigeria. He wrote a very good book. Has it been translated into English or not?
Well, it should happen this year.
Okay. So it's a very interesting book about Borno, and helping me to understand a little more what is the situation there. And there are many new projects, digitalization and so on. So I think globally we can say that the 30 years of IFRA has really been a real success. I think the fact that France has this institute in Nigeria, well, we are very proud of it, because I don't think other countries have anything similar, in fact. I'm very happy that IFRA has been very much working with the Nigerian scientists and researchers. That's very important. It's a collaborative work. It's not only French researchers spending some time in Nigeria. It's really a collaborative work with the Nigerian university professors and researchers. And well, I wish to the team plenty of more successes in the years to come. And I thank all of you for this anniversary and for the 30 past years and for the 30 years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your excellency, for your very kind words. And guess what? We all finished on time. This is, I wouldn't believe I only believed that from the start, but that's great. I suppose these closing remarks, at the end of our conference. But again, let me thank our local organization committee. Thank you. Our participants, thank you. And everyone for coming today. Now we're going to have a short, brief visit, that's what we turn on the program, of our resource center. I think the team of the French embassy, Mangro Martino, I think you will take them there. Am I right? Shall I come with you? Okay. But may I invite all of you to join us later on tonight. Everything should start at 5 o'clock. So we'll be early, even, that's great. So please, if you can all move to IFRA, you know where it is, across the car park. You've seen it, I'm sure, before, towards the Institute of African Studies. Again, let me thank you all for being here today. And if you've got any questions, of course, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you. Thank you.
I finally know you. I can see beyond your smile.